I was picking yesterday. They started planting beans yesterday. But usually I give them a day head start so I don't catch up to them. And right now we got 2 air seeders going, and then I'm on a field where there's my coworkers over there with the row planter putting down beans over here. But he's about done with this field, so I was rolling a field right by the yard this morning. I did the end rounds, and then I went to turn the auto steer on. Well, it didn't work. And what happened was he had set it up for this tractor itself, which is the case quadtrac. But for some reason, the John Deere monitor here changed it back to one of our John Deere 8-wheelers, so it wasn't relaying to the monitor, to the globe, to the tractor to turn the fucking auto steer on. So my coworker told me to come up here, and you have to calibrate it and shit. So we had to unhook the roller actually, do the calibration out in the field, hook it back up, and now I'm rolling again. Now it seems to be working, so that's good. I'm just hoping it's not an issue like when I turn the tractor on and off, that it fucking automatically goes back to what these monitors are set up for, which would be our 8-wheel John Deere tractors. I'm hoping that's not the case, because I really don't feel like calibrating this motherfucker every morning when I start rolling beans. My coworker said if that's the case, he's gonna call someone, chew their ass, and we might just put this on one of the 8-wheelers, because we got 4. I don't know what the 4th one is hooked up to, or if it's even hooked up, but the other 3 are hooked up to the air seeders and the planters right now. So, yeah, this just runs off the standard globe and monitor John Deere ones, but it's on a case quadtrac instead. And the reason we put it on the quadtrac this year instead of the 8295 like we do every year, well, my boss upgraded to the Degelman 8000 roller, which is an 80-footer instead of the 60-footer we always run. The 8295 will pull it, but there's not enough weight on the back tires. Like even with the 60-foot roller, if you took off too fast or you slowed down on a hill, the tires would sit there and spin or wouldn't stop. So with this, with the quadtracs, we should be putting everything to the ground instead of the tires just spinning and shit. But I like the 8295 instead. If that was a tractor, that was the only tractor I could have, I'd prefer that. But this ain't the case quadtrac, no problem pulling this, no problem stopping it. It's got plenty of weight on it, but yeah, 80 feet is quite a bit for a roller. But instead of running my usual 14-15 miles an hour, my coworker has it set up with the auto throttle, which means I can have this throttle all the way forward and it stays constant between like 19 and 1950 RPMs. So in 12th gear it stays at roughly 10 miles an hour. So I decreased speed by 5 miles an hour, but you also added 20 feet to the roller. So it should come out to be the same if I was rolling with the 60-footer. Because I'm going slower, but I got more area worked at one time with the 8295 and the 60-foot roller. I could go faster, but I worked less ground in one pass. I don't like the center pivoting tractor for rolling, but it does get the job done. I prefer the front wheel steering on the tractors, but oh well. And the auto steer button on here is really fucking touchy. I pretty much gotta be within an inch or two of my fucking line or it will not go on. And sometimes if I press the button, it will shut the auto steer off. So it's kind of a hit and miss for this auto steer system into the quadtrac. But I think it should just be in a John Deere tractor and then it would work fine. But for some reason the John Deere Globe monitor has to be fidgety about being on a case. I don't know if it's the John Deere or the case that's being dumb, but oh well. Like I said, I just don't feel like recalibrating everything for this fucking tractor in the morning. In every fucking morning. And another thing is I don't like, I like to swivel in my seat so I can fucking look behind me. Granted, I can't see shit now with the dust flying, but I always have my fucking seat, if there is a tractor with the seat that swivels, I always like to swivel so I don't have to fucking turn my neck. But with this, I'm thinking we should get a cable extension because this, if you turn too far, will probably rip that fucking cord out. So right now I have the chair stationary so I don't swivel too fast or hit a bump and the chair swivels and then it gets ripped out. Then I have no auto steer. So not a fan of that. Because usually in the John Deere tractors we have a monitor up there, not onto the console that moves. So, and I've noticed with these center pivoting tractors is it likes to sway a lot. I don't know if you can see that, but it is swaying pretty good right now. Not a fan with that front wheel steering tractors. Really doesn't seem to have a problem swaying too much, but this, it's trying to keep everything lined up at once with the hitch and with the back part of the tractor and the front part of the tractor. It's just not staying straight. So, but I did get out and I checked my passes, making sure I'm overlapping a little bit. On my passes going north, it's fine. On the pass I'm doing south now, it is missing a gap about 3-4 inches wide. So that's another thing. But this system is set up for, it's supposed to overlap, what is that, 2.5 foot. Implement width is 80 feet, but the track spacing set up at 78.5. So 79, that's a foot. 78, that'd be 2. So yeah, 1.5 feet. So it should not be leaving a gap on that side. But what I've realized running these systems for rolling or disking or whatever I'm using these John Deere Globe monitors for, is I've realized that for some reason one pass, like if you're going a certain direction, it will overlap, and you come to the other side and it's leaving a gap. Well, you can fucking make the spacing closer, but it will still, the one side will fucking finally overlap, but then you're overlapping how much on the one side. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just the tractor swaying so much, because I've walked a good 50 feet, and I noticed in one spot it's about the gap is 6 inches wide. Some places it's 4 inches wide. Some places there is no gap, so I'm not going to change anything because I believe it's just the tractor swaying, trying to line itself up is the only reason it's leaving that gap. But 6 inches, a 6-inch gap at the most isn't the worst, but if in those 6 inches you miss a rock, goes in the combine, it makes a big difference because then you got a rock in the combine. But at a 6-inch gap, that rock is probably not the biggest rock if you missed it by a couple inches, so that should be able to go into the rock trap of the combine, not fucking anything up. If it was a bigger rock and it went in there, it would probably bypass the rock trap itself, go into the fucking combine and wreck a bunch of shit. So, but I will probably check my passes in a little while, see if it's correcting itself, see if it's doing the same thing. If it's leaving a constant gap, I will change it, but if it's hitting and missing in some places, I'm not even going to fuck with it. Because if I press something on here, it's probably going to fuck up something else. And I don't feel like redoing the system. But whatever. I'm just hoping it's just because of the swaying on the tractor. Hopefully. I don't know. And I can't turn very sharp with this fucker because it seems like if I move it just a little bit, oh Jesus Christ, yeah, it's gonna fucking run into that hitch. There you go. I can turn a lot sharper with the 8295 with the roller hooked up. Because there's probably 2-3 feet between the back tire or the back track and the hitch, which means you have only 3 feet to turn before that track starts running into that hitch, which you don't want. So I just don't turn sharp. I try to make wide fucking turns, but sometimes you can't do that, sometimes you can. I don't know. But yeah, I figured I'd let you guys know what I'm doing. Hopefully I can keep up with these guys. I know last year I had issues with bearings going out on the roller, and I was already a couple days behind, and I got really behind. So hopefully that's not an issue this year. Hopefully I can keep up, but for now I'm gonna keep on chugging along and getting this shit done. So I'll catch you guys later.